am right where I want to be.
I'm really happy to be back, guys. I love WWE, guys. Come on, I said it, I'm sorry. WWE's the best. I take this demotion with pride. Can someone tell me if Triple Nose is still holding a gun to Carmella's head? WWE's arrival on Netflix has come with some professional casualties. Look no further than a man who clearly thinks he's hilarious and brilliant at commentary, while general opinions are actually pretty divided. Corey Graves. After a long stretch doing his thing commentating on the main roster, Graves completely lost his marbles recently when he was sent packing back to NXT. Fuming, the Ink Man made no bones about his rage during the broadcast. Totally unprofessional, if you ask me. I would never make such a scene at work. I would share some footage here, but WWE are relentless. Even a second of footage, heavily edited, can lead to a copyright claim. Believe me, I know all about it. So just take my word for it if you never watch NXT, which, I mean, who could blame you? Basically, Graves did himself a little shoot on his professional situation and the disrespect he felt at being sent packing to the minor leagues. You know, that place he spent his whole actual wrestling career. I thought he'd be used to it. It was a reckless thing to do. The type of behavior that can have very unpleasant consequences in the workplace. But, then again, this is a man whose wrestling career crumbled because he wouldn't even tuck his chin when taking bumps, ensuring his brain got more rattled than a Diaz brother in the process. Last week, he wasn't on NXT, unsurprisingly, and during that time, he also further let rip about his current situation on X. This week, though, he's back in action, and despite a comically miserable look on his face, he was well behaved at the commentary table. So what's really going on here? There's a theory running around that this might all be a work. Graves is believed to have been cleared for in-ring competition for the first time in years, and he's been butting heads with Pat McAfee on commentary, on and off, for years as well, and getting demoted for McAfee seems like an easy setup for a commentator versus commentator feud, maybe even in time for this year's WrestleMania. Here's the question though, does that seem like a WrestleMania-worthy bout to you? Last time a commentary feud happened for WrestleMania, it was Michael Cole versus Jerry Lawler, the worst feud ever. Oh man, WrestleMania 27, I tell you, that was the wrestling equivalent of a war crime, or an infectious, flesh-eating disease. Awful. It was like Satan himself wiped his ass with the WWE for a night, and we all had to watch it. Well, we didn't have to, we chose to for reasons none of us were entirely sure of. Anyways, my point is, this is a goofball feud, better suited to a B-show, if indeed it is in the works. The other option here is much simpler, and that is that Graves' demotion and fury over it are genuine. However, he's got, I think, 3 kids to his first wife, and then another kid with Carmella, and maybe he realized a steady paycheck is the way forwards after all, even if it means going back to his old stomping grounds and eating a little humble pie. Even if this was at work, surely the easier route would have been to have him and McAfee sharing a commentary table week to week, constantly ripping each other a new one until a physical altercation segment can be run. Chances are, Graves maybe just wasn't deemed good enough for Netflix's commercial-heavy, crappy Raw show. Good enough for NXT though, so there's something. And the question is he any worse than the usual commentary we get? When he first moved up to the main roster, smarkier fans seemed very fond of his humour and his heelish style. Even wrestlers like JBL hyped him up as the next Bobby Heenan. And yet, all these years later, the formula has gotten strained, with Graves relying on the same one-note jokes and references to try and get himself over time and again, to the point that everyone, from the sad diehards who frankly need to reevaluate their lives, being subscribers to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, oh my goodness, all the way over to general casual fans, all of them, across the board, seemingly have gotten quite tired of Graves' shtick. In general, for many years now, WWE commentary has been on a downward slope, both before and after old Vince McMahon left, with little effort into calling the moves or even just putting the wrestlers over properly. Instead, we get nothing reactions like "oh" and "ooh" and "knee," and Michael Cole just yelling people's names pointlessly. We know who they are, Michael. It's a disservice to the wrestlers, and it's not fun to listen to, so it's a disservice to fans as well. And AEW, to be clear, is no better. I can already just hear the triple nose simps seething as brown puddles form in their adult diapers.
You're an AEW lover. I'll find where you live and take you out. Praise Triple H.
AEW's commentary. You know, Tony Schiavone will tell you the match is good. Excalibur will tell you some BS from 10 years ago you don't care about. And Schiavone will go, that's right, yeah, you nailed it, yeah, good point there, yeah. Or something else similarly agreeable, he has no backbone. Commentary is an art form, and there's a reason Prime Jim Ross and ECW Prime Joey Styles are so fondly remembered. Because all of their effort went into putting over the talent, and their moves, and their athleticism, whilst trying to sell whatever angle it was they were working. And both guys, Styles especially, often got the hard shaft during their times in WWE for not being corporate buzz phrase machines enough. Terrible, sad stuff. Overall, work or not, Graves has looked like an absolute fool the past few weeks. No one enjoys the humiliation of demotion. It's understandable he'd be upset. But throwing a fit, only to come back like nothing happened, is George Costanza levels of embarrassing if it's for real. And let's be real here. Commentating NXT for a decent paycheck sounds alright. Would you rather commentate Lola Vice twerking and Oberfemi squashing fools, or a 9 to 5? Right, you had the option of either of those things. Which would you pick? I know which one I'd go for.